What it do? What it what it do? You know what to do. Like, subscribe, share, comment to my YouTube channel. Most definitely hit that bell icon. That's a notification bell that alert you all content that will drop to my YouTube channel. Also, make sure you hit the thumbs up, the AKA the like button. YouTube appreciate that. S.L.R Media TV appreciate that. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I need everybody to go to my second YouTube channel, S.L.R Sports News TV. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment over there. We're on the road to 800 subscribers. Make sure you do the same thing on this channel right here. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment over there. We on the road to 4,000 subscribers. Let's get it. Make sure you know what to do. Hit that Cash App. All information is pinned in at the bottom of the ticker or at the top of the ticker. You know what to do. Get right, get busy. Shout out to my subscribers. Shout out to my future subscribers. You know what it is. We in the building. We in the building. The war in hip hop. Diddy, not guilty. Part 2. For sure. No, I ain't playing with this, yo. We gon' what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get into it, but we're gonna break it down. But we're gonna get into the content early, and then I'm gonna break it down how I feel about the situation that what went down today with Diddy's defensive team. I think was another win for the defensive team. I'm gonna break it down. We're gonna talk about it, but also it's still that possibility that Diddy could be found guilty, and I'm gonna break that down, and I'm gonna talk about that too. So the jury got a lot going on. The jury got a lot going on for sure. Oh yeah, most definitely. What's good? What's good, Raphael? What's good? Almost Monday, my guy, for sure. Um, it could be Monday. It can be Monday the uh if the prosecutors, if the feds let it be Monday. But if the feds come in with a rebuttal, trying to persuade the jurors to try to add more onto the case, this could go Tuesday or Wednesday. It might go Thursday. Who knows? It's really all up to the prosecutors. If the prosecutors feel like they won this case, we'll get a verdict Monday. If they feel like there's a possibility that Diddy could get off, they could be trying to push it to maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. Um, But I'm feeling good about Diddy doing the Diddy Bop and walking the fuck up out of the federales because once again, where's the RICO charge? Yo, imagine, bro, they say he's not guilty. That shit's gonna be crazy. Yo, this is the biggest trial right now since O.J. Simpson. This is the biggest trial since O.J. Simpson. And see, I got to get into it today because I want to show y'all how they try to assassinate Diddy's character through the media. See, I told you yesterday that how the feds was trying to do, how the feds were trying to take a state civil case and inject steroids in it and push it to a federal case because somebody in the federal government don't like Diddy or did not like what Diddy did to Cassie on the tape. It's all about the tape. You can't give a RICO charge to one person. It has to be an enterprise. It has to be an organization. It has to be a chain of commands, not co-conspirators. This is not a fucking drug. This is not a drug ring. This is not a drug deal that went bad, that I had co-conspirators that turned against me. Oh, it was S.L.R who set the kilos up. It was S.L.R S.L.R who know the plug. We were just working for him. They're my co-conspirators. This is not a drug case. This is a sex trafficking case. This is the Mann Act. This is a RICO charge. Charges that will put him away for the rest of his life. I'm pretty sure people seen BMF. We all seen BMF, right? I'm pretty sure you seen BMF. If not, go on YouTube, whatever. Look up BMF, Big Meat Southwest Tea. Look up how the feds had a board with Big Meat and Southwest Tea and had that shit out like a spider web with multiple people working up under them to connect the enterprise together. You see none of that with Diddy. All you see with Diddy on the board is Diddy and no fucking body else. You trying to take a Cassie silver suit and put this man away for the rest of his life. It's not going to happen. And I believe the jurors see right through this shit. I don't give a fuck about what you say about Puff being a bad person, being a woman's beater, being a drug addict, being gay, however you want to say, bisexual. I don't give a fuck what he does in his personal life. That's what he do. You can't knock or judge a personal life. That's his privacy. That's what he wants to do. But what I will not stand for is the feds can use and manipulate the RICO charge that's supposed to be only for mobsters, gangsters, drug dealers, white collar crimes, and use it against a black man because of his lifestyle. Unbelievable. Yeah, yeah, since the Simpson fact, yeah. This is the biggest trial since O.J. Simpson. This is the biggest. This is the biggest. It's the biggest. Tap in. Monday, we're going live. I don't know if the verdict gonna be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but trust and believe. S.L.R will have it. We're going live. Believe that. We on verdict watch as we speak. We on verdict watch. Whenever the news break about Puff, we're going live. And I will have the StreamYard link pinned in as I got now. If you want to pull up and if you think Puff is guilty or innocent, hit the link, pull up. Let me know. Let me know why Puff is guilty or innocent. For sure. Wait, is Puff in jail right now or he's going to court? Puff in jail. Puff in jail. Matter of fact, Puff probably been in jail since probably about 3 o'clock, 3 or 4 in the afternoon. The defense team only took maybe an hour, maybe under 2 hours. Defense team took maybe under 2 hours, slightly maybe an hour. However, it wasn't no 3, it wasn't no 4 hours like the prosecutors try to do, try to manipulate the shit, try to be very detailed, decisive, try to hold a fucking seminar with PowerPoints and all this shit, all this ridiculous shit, wasting taxpayers' money. Unbelievable. These prosecutors ought to be ashamed of themselves. They should have never even took this fucking case. This is a state case that could have been tried in the state of Florida, in the state of California, and in the state of New York. We know, we know for a shadow of a doubt, this is assassination on Puff's character. This is a public assassination on Puff's character. And how they tried to do it was with the hotel video. How you start the trial off. How did the feds start the trial off? How was the Fed? The feds treated the first phase of the trial like a fucking Hollywood Netflix movie. Who the fuck is Nash Bryant? Whoever the fuck this dude is supposed to be a stylist. You bring a fucking stylist. What the fuck do a stylist got to do with this? He got nothing to do with this. He came on there and lied. Oh, he put the nail in Diddy's coffin. He got out the car looking stylish. We knew he had something juicy. We knew he had something juicy on Puff. Yeah, he had something. A whole bunch of motherfucking lies. First phase, let's lie. Let's manipulate the public and let's manipulate the jurors. Cause I'm gonna tell you one thing about this. The judge could have easily had the jurors on lock. The judge could have told the jurors, this is what is going to happen. You're going to stay in this hotel with security until this trial is over with. You would not go home. Now, I'm giving y'all a week's notice to get your shit in order. Do what you got to do and report to this hotel. You will be here till the duration until this trial is over with. So y'all won't hear nothing about the bloggers. You won't hear nothing from S.L.R. You won't hear nothing from nobody who's talking about this case that's going to influence your mind. See, once the federal prosecutors knew the judge was not going to do that, it's fair game. Let's get dirty. Let's release the hotel tape. And that's exactly what they did. Once they released the hotel tape, he was done. Diddy was done as Diddy Puff, however Diddy wanted to be in the public in the image, he was done by women, some by men, and the trial haven't even got started yet. And that was the first. They tried to kill Diddy early. It was like, how dare him have a $4-5 million lawyer team? Okay, he wants to come out like that. Let's see how good his lawyer team is. Let's see his lawyer team can dig out of this. They fucking put Diddy in the hole and the lawyers in the hole and say, dig your ass up out of this shit. If you can get up out of this, you a badass team. This is the best lawyer team in the nation. That video was meant to end Puff early. That video was meant for Puff to come to the table to the realization and take the deal. Take the deal the feds was going to give you to prove a point that 95, 96%, as we say, we stand on. Puff take the deal. Puff said, fuck that. I'm not taking no deal. Let's go. Let's ball. Let's go to court. Fuck that. These people wouldn't even have the lifestyle they had that's going against me. It wasn't for me. Listen, they never made the most money in their life until I employed them, until they met me. And now they want to turn their backs on me and lie on me. Let's go. Let's run it up. Let's run it up. Let's run it up. And I said before and I say it again. If Puff is found guilty, yo, if Puff is found guilty, his defense team can no longer do any justice in the state, no any justice in the United States. Nobody will employ nobody will employ these lawyers because high power people, celebrities, whoever got the money will not hire these people because y'all was the one that sent Puff to jail for 20 years to life. Puff knew, and his lawyers knew that backs were going to be against the wall because you're going against the federal government. The federal government tried to slam dunk and close the case and slam the door on Puff and them when they put out the video of him whooping Cassie ass. And it was like, now what the fuck you gonna do, Diddy? Now what you and your $4 or $5 million team gonna do now? How the fuck y'all gonna come back from this? Not only that, the judge did not lock the jury down. The judge let the jurors go home and go live their normal life. So of course they're gonna go on the internet. Of course they're gonna go on YouTube and hear me and other bloggers talk about this. See, the deck was stacked against Diddy the whole time. Even the judge was against Diddy. Even the judge was against Diddy. He still might be against Diddy. And thank God that they did not put the ruling in the judge's hands. Diddy will be up the fucking creek. He will be doing R. Kelly numbers. They say, how Diddy gonna come back for this? How can he rebound for this? Simple. He's being blackballed. Where is all the hoopla and the bullshit that the prosecutors did early? Where are all these motherfucking witnesses? Where are all these people who came up with all these fucking lies? Where is the people that say Diddy made them have sex with other people? Where are they at? I mean, the prosecutor's supposed to have at least 60 to 70 fucking witnesses. Honestly, fuck the 30 something. They're supposed to have add on 30 more. The way this shit was looking, every female thinks Diddy is still guilty. Of course. Well, okay, he's guilty for whooping Cassie ass. But I tell you what, take your motherfucking ass to state court and look at them fucking dockets and look at all the motherfucking domestic violence cases in them courts. Huh? Huh? And then when you go back, shut your motherfucking ass up. That what Diddy did to Cassie's fucking normal. This shit happens all day, every fucking day. Just happened. It just happened. It was an icon that did it. Of course, no man or woman should put their hands on a woman should put their hands on a man. A man should put their hands on a motherfucking woman. But I'm gonna tell you this though. I don't live in your relationship. I don't know what the fuck goes down. What happens, it happens. That's not on me. They got to deal with that. If she get her ass whooped and still want to be with him, that's on them. That's on her. But that should not give no right for the federals to take the action, of course, and to judge that for their own self. Let's get into the shit. You know how I like to start with. The intro.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you gotta do that. I was fucked up. I hit rock bottom. But I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy. I'm going to rehab. Had to ask God for His mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
The prosecution, which stayed at the lectern, he's moving around, he's looking at the jurors, he's going back and forth as he's making his arguments, first by starting off saying that this case is the tale of two trials. He said one is based in evidence, and that is what he wants to talk about. But he said what's coming from the mouths of prosecutors is very different. He said that the statute is very complicated, a RICO case, that this is about drug use and threesomes. He said Sean Combs has been something very hard to become. He is a self-made, successful black entrepreneur. I mean, within 5 to 10 minutes of the opening or closing arguments from Agnifilo, I can tell the jurors were paying very close attention. And because he was walking back and forth, you can see them following him as he's making his arguments for the defense side. He went on to say that DEI, he said he was doing this in 1993, referring to Combs as a 23-year-old, not because the government told him to, but that is who he is. When it came to talking about racketeering conspiracy, Mark Agnifilo said, "Are you kidding me? You didn't hear one witness say that they were a part of that." He also wanted the jurors to look over at Combs's family and said, notice that 6 of his 7 children and his mother are here. He said that's because they care about him and he takes care of people. That's what he does. Then went on to talk about Jane, one of Combs's former girlfriends, and said that she testified about coercion, but yet he said she lives in a beautiful house that she deserves. And we know from testimony that Combs is still paying for that house. And then he says to the jurors, is that coercion? He sort of poked fun, if you will, at the Homeland Security raiding the homes of Combs last year and said emphatically, Astroglide taken off the streets. I feel better already. Streets of America are safe. And they find baby oil. Thank God for the special agents. Throughout, he's asking the jurors questions. He even said, where is the crime? The personal bedroom? So he's laying out that this is a personal matter. As he said at the beginning, he said that this was about drugs and threesomes. Now remember that racketeering conspiracy is so important because there are 8 elements of that conspiracy that the prosecutors are trying to prove. Here are the elements of racketeering conspiracy: drug distribution, arson, kidnapping, bribery, sex trafficking, interstate transportation, forced labor, witness tampering, and obstruction. So those are the elements within racketeering conspiracy that the defense right now is saying you cannot find him guilty of these, and here's why. Remember, if the jury finds that 2 of those things can be proven, 2 of those elements, then they would have to find Combs guilty of racketeering conspiracy, which he could spend up to life in prison if convicted on that one charge alone. But remember, he's also looking at sex trafficking and transportation for the purpose of prostitution as well. And similar to what we heard in opening statements, the defense reiterated that this case, they said, is about 5 things: love, jealousy, infidelity, money, and they owned the domestic.
A lot of you guys been saying y'all think the transportation for prostitution is going to stick in the Diddy trial. So I'm going to break this down legally, not emotionally. Knowingly transporting someone across state lines with the intent to engage in prostitution or criminal activity. And this is why I always scream facts over feelings. Diddy paid for parties, but Diddy didn't profit from parties. Diddy was never throwing parties to profit off a woman's sexual activities. He funded them. That ain't pimping, that's a lifestyle. No one during this whole trial said that he managed them like an escort service or that he got a cut off of anything. He didn't run an enterprise. He threw big ass wild parties. There's a difference. The woman consented, and plenty of times the woman initiated the whole party. These women got on the stand and said that they wanted to do these OFs. They initiated these OFs. They said that they did it because they loved him, because they wanted to please him, because they know that it was going to make him happy. And they loved him and still love him. That's not coercion, that's emotion. And that's not trafficking, that's relationships. And plenty of you guys keep saying that the defense doesn't have any defense when it comes to this charge. But the defense did a lot of defensing. These were adult women consenting. They weren't being pimped. They had a choice. I find it really strange that there's real victims out in this world that have no choice. And these girls are on stand playing in our face. And even though they're admitting that they were willing participants, it's crazy the world and society today putting titles on these women that ain't even it. And even the performers that the prosecution put on the stand said that they were willing participants as well. They did it because they wanted to. If someone flies you out to perform or to a party or to a vibe, and then y'all both willingly want to have sexual intercourse, that's not a crime. And you people in the comments or you people in the feeds are saying that this charge is going to stick because y'all hear prostitution and y'all lost all sense of logic. And just assuming that sex equals crime now. And now y'all got the new definition for women plus travel plus Diddy's money is now exploitation. He's only guilty to you guys because it's Diddy and it sounds wild to y'all. But what I will say is that the defense did fight back. They showed lack of intent, no profit motive. They showed consensual adults consenting. They also showed emotional relationships over and over and over and over again, not sex for hire arrangements. Unless the feds can prove that he flew them out just to pimp them out beyond a reasonable doubt, then this don't hold. Yes, he flew women out. Yes, he had parties, but he flew women out that he was dating, that he was in relationships with, that he loved, that loved him, that willingly wanted to be there for a good time. So seriously, you got to ask yourself, is that transportation for prostitution? Or is that relationships with benefits? Because if that's the case, then a lot of y'all will be guilty for flying your sneaky links to Miami. Nobody talking about the Abercrombie CEO. He didn't get this type of treatment. Why? Because the color of his skin? This man was knowingly flying young boys to private islands for this sexual activity. And there was contracts. There was grooming. Where's the outrage for that? That man got bail. And this man was willing to put up everything and still no bail. That don't make y'all feel some type of way? It really be your own people. I'm telling you, them other people on the other side, they ain't playing that. They riding for theirs. And they prevail every time. But it's you people that don't even be knowing the real, that don't even be there, that just be looking at the blogs, the headlines, and just fold so fast. It don't even have to be no hardcore evidence. Y'all just fold. I don't like this for us. I don't. If a black billionaire with global fame and on deck attorneys that are some of the best attorneys can't even get a fair trial with lack of evidence, so much reasonable doubt, what does that say for us, the people with none of the money that he has? What does that say for us without the money that he has, without the platforms that he has, and without the name that he has and that he holds? What does that say for us? You really think this ain't about race and power? They assassinating this man off of assumptions. Meanwhile, white men with literal sex islands get to walk free. And don't get me wrong, not everybody's going to like Diddy, but all I'm saying is that if he doesn't get a right to a fair trial, what does that say for y'all? I just want to know how y'all going to feel if it happens to be your brother, your cousin, your son. Once they're done with him, they just going to continue on to the next black man. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves.
Now look, the case is going to be going to the jury. How would you prove innocence? Or how would you find guilty? How would you find Diddy not guilty? Because you're not going to prove innocence. There's no such thing as innocence. Stop saying innocence. There's no such thing as that. How would you win the case with Diddy? Very, very simple. Let me go through a couple of things with you, bring you up to speed. Remember, I don't care about proving anything. Remember, I'm the defense lawyer. I'm trying to basically kill probable cause. A reasonable doubt, I should say. Okay? Now, first, the strategy is that this was debauched. This wasn't criminal. The central argument is going to be that this case is about moral disapproval of Sean Combs' lifestyle, not about proof of federal crimes beyond a reasonable doubt. The defense has got to convince the jury that while Diddy may be guilty of excess and vulgarity or even immorality, he is not guilty of orchestrated a criminal enterprise or trafficking anyone. As to RICO, you've got to attack the RICO conspiracy, attack the enterprise and predicate acts. And the best argument is that there was no enterprise. This was not the mafia. This was a celebrity entourage, not a crime syndicate. Undermine relatedness. First part, relatedness and continuity. Relatedness. Argue that the alleged acts, drugs, sex, money, whatever, were isolated acts, not part of some coordinated plan. Undermine continuity. Remember, relatedness and continuity. Portray the incidents as episodic, chaotic, even abusive, but not organized, not systemic, not systematic, not organized. Not continuous. That's the most important thing. Remember, this is the aspect which is the most important. You have to understand relatedness and continuity. That's it. Undermine the involvement of others. Say that no one was employed in the criminal network. Friends, girlfriends, staff, all voluntary, present in this orbit of fame and excess. The tagline should be, this was a party house, isn't a racketeering ring. This is Hugh Hefner. This is the Playboy Mansion. Sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion? No. Attack consent and intent. The best argument is that they were adult relationships. Messy, toxic, gross, even manipulative, horrible, but they were not trafficking. They were not trafficking. Emphasized agency and participation. This is important. This is the alleged victims in this remained in relationship. They took money, accepted gifts, traveled by choice. No commercial sex arrangement forced or brokered. It was intimate. It wasn't a transactional, a legal sense. And undermined the force, fraud, coercion element. This is important. Did the alleged victim ever call the police? Were there threats or just power imbalances? Did the prosecution prove any intent to exploit? The tagline, the theme is, there was seduction, not sex trafficking. Next, transportation for prostitution. This is the Mann Act. Attack the intent and definition. The best argument is that no one was trafficked across state lines for prostitution. This was a private relationship, not a pimping operation. Attack the definition of prostitution. Was sex offered for money, or was it part of a consensual, romantic celebrity lifestyle? As crazy as that might seem. Highlight voluntary travel. Did the victims choose to travel for parties, events, or relationships? They choose. Were they told to perform for pay, or did they just show up, or were they reimbursed? This is not prostitution. Undermined intent. The prosecution must prove that Combs intended to have someone cross state lines for illegal sex work. Proving beyond a reasonable doubt is very tough, especially in celebrity context. This is going to be really tough. The tagline, the idea should be, she traveled for love and fame, not for sale. And also, weaponize the spectacle. The defense can argue that the entire prosecution is political. It's about feeding the media machine. It's about trying to make a federal racketeering case fit. Because if they don't fit, there is no federal case here. The government turned the sordid gossip column into a federal indictment. Don't let that circus determine a man's freedom. Undermine the credibility of witnesses. Money, motive, publicity, lawsuits. Explain we didn't have to put a case on because the prosecution never proved theirs. Highlight the idea of selective prosecution. Why now? Why after civil suits were paid? Why now? Argue overreach. The feds are turning Hollywood excess into organized crime. That's not justice. That's overkill. And what you have to do is you have to tell the jury, you may hate the parties. You may hate the drugs, the fame. You may hate him. But that's not your job. Your job is to decide whether the government has proved its case. And on that, ladies and gentlemen, they failed. That's the way you do it. That's it. That simple. And what's so interesting, believe it or not, is that nothing more needs to be done, needs to be explained. That simple. That easy. That clean. Don't make it any more obvious than it is. That's it. Or don't make it any more complicated, I should say, because the idea is that it's obvious. And sit down and let that jury, the less you say, the better. Breviloquence, be brief, show brevity in thought. That's the way to do it. It's the most important and critical thing there is. And what I'm telling you, more than anything else, which is so critical, is for people to understand the idea that this case has hit overkill. They've been hit with this tsunami. They don't know what to make out of it. The complexity and the enormity and the sickness of it will ultimately inure to the benefit of Diddy. Guaranteed. Now listen to what I'm saying. Remember, I don't like this guy, you don't like this guy, but our liking it has nothing to do with it. If they had charged him with arson, you would be right to say, you know what, where was there any evidence of fire? That doesn't mean that nothing bad happened. It doesn't mean that nothing occurred. It means that what they charged him with was not what they proved. That simple, that obvious. And that, my friends, is the case in a nutshell. And that's why they should and will find Sean Diddy Combs not guilty. What do you think? Comment as you see fit.
Yeah. Yeah, you heard it. You heard it. Not guilty. This fucking charade, this fucking Netflix special, this Lifetime movie, this fucking Tubi movie. I mean, however you want to put this shit together, however the the federals try to put it. This is a fucking Tubi Lifetime movie, Netflix. However you want to put a special on the NBC, however you want to fucking see it. How you take a state? It wouldn't even. Matter of fact, Diddy wouldn't even charge with nothing. That's the crazy part about it. Cassie took out a lawsuit because the feds encouraged her. She got a call. Hold on. She got a call. Hey, we hear that there's a video out of Diddy putting his hands on you. So, boom. So by them doing that, you know, there's a law in New York that's going to pass soon, that's going to expire, where you're not going to be able to file um lawsuits or sexual assault lawsuits against certain people or celebrities that goes 10 years or beyond. You're not going to be able to do that. So once you go ahead and put that in, so we can go ahead and pick that up, and we're going to inject that with some steroids, and we're going to make Sean Diddy Combs' life a miserable hell. Yeah, because see, CNN had the tape. Allegedly, CNN was the one who dropped the tape. CNN was the one. Allegedly. Now, I don't know who the fuck. I don't know. That's the thing about it. We don't know who's out for Diddy. We don't know who dropped the fucking tape. We don't know that. All we know is that this tape is old as fuck, and we just now seen this. And we know that Cassie and Diddy knew about this tape. Who dropped the tape? It's crazy how Cassie's silver suit comes out, and then the videotape comes out of the hotel. Then you add two and two together, and Cassie is a star witness. If Cassie was a star witness, you didn't need no motherfucking body else to come up on the stand. You didn't need Kid Cudi. You didn't need no fucking body else. Every single one of them lied. And then accordingly to for what I am hearing, Cassie also lied in a lawsuit. As a matter of fact, Cassie lied through everything. She lied through everything. She's a liar. She's a certified freak, whore, a liar. Call it what it is. Got 3,000. Bitch out here on her knees sucking dick with the herpes. Yeah, let's call it like it is, Cassie. You got the herpes. Yeah, Puff got herpes. Yeah, Puff got it. You got it too. And them sexual workers, them FOs, they caught herpes too. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about it. Yeah, let's be reckless. Who the fuck you gonna believe a hoe? Accordingly, you got the millions. You didn't have to go testify. Let me tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why Cassie testified. Because they told her you was a sexual worker too. You was a prostitute. We can charge you just like we can charge Jane Doe for being a prostitute. Let's be real about it. Let's be real about it. Why would she testify against Diddy if Diddy already paid her 20 million? Why she the star witness? Yeah. Why? Why? Everything her and Diddy did was consensual. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this right now. What woman, what woman would have random men pissing in her mouth, pissing on her face, giving her golden showers? What men? Yeah, Young Miami seen it. She seen the tapes. Yeah, Young Miami seen everything. She seen everything. That's how comfortable Diddy was with her. He showed her all the freak out tapes. But see, they couldn't get Young Miami without getting Gina. See, if they would have got Gina, then they would have got Young Miami. See, that's how Diddy gonna get the fuck off because they didn't get Gina. Now they would have got Gina, that would have been a different story. But I think Gina is the one that has Diddy last baby. Cause you know Diddy got a young daughter. Look, now, I don't think the baby maybe not even 2 years old, and I think Gina is the mom. So you got to put shit together, right? Like, come on now, yeah. But you know, Young Mike was talking shit about Gina. So called Gina, she was an eater. So you got to put shit together. You can't get Gina. You can't get Young Miami. Jane Doe is a hoe, still a hoe, always will be a hoe. 50, you just might just go ahead and just wipe her on up, going back, you know what I'm saying? Apologize to her. Yeah, you should. This don't make you look no good either, 50, because that's your baby mom. You knew your baby mom was out here getting bent over, getting muscled down, got 3,000. Yeah, 50. You can't sit out here and talk shit about Puff. You knew what was going on. Did you intervene? Huh? But you gonna sit here and throw subliminal shots though. But you knew the whole time though. Like, come on, bro. Like, stop that bullshit. 50. Get out of here, boy. That's your baby mama out here getting slaughtered down. Slutty. Slaughter gang. Slutty buddy. Cuddy wuddy. Yeah. Y'all females, y'all need to get on 50. Get on 50. Go on this page. Get on 50 Cent. Blame 50 Cent. 50 the reason why his baby mama was out here getting muscled down. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If 50 would have injected more in the child support, maybe Diddy wouldn't have to even pay her $10,000 a year and no $10,000 a month and all this other fucking bullshit, huh? He picking up your slack, 50. Yeah, maybe if you'd put a little extra, what, 5,000 on your child support, maybe 10 bands. If you really feel some way about your baby mama, you ain't want to out here getting muscled down, you would have put more money in that child support, right? Let's be real. Let's be real now. Let's be real. Yeah, yeah. I ain't letting up off 50. 50 no better. We do want to go in here and talk about Diddy's lawyer is gonna be the reason why that Diddy gonna do 20 years. Nah. It won't be his lawyer. It will be your fucking baby mom's to be the reason why he be doing 20 years. Because your motherfucking ass, your little cheapskate ass, like every other chick they say about you, yeah, you don't want to motherfucking pay up. The fuck out of here. Talking about Diddy lawyer gonna be the reason why. Nah, nigga. Nah, your baby mama, aka Jane Doe, aka Daphne Joy. She'll be the reason why. How the fuck you gonna testify against Diddy? Diddy still paying your bills. Get the fuck out of here. That's crazy. Damn, Diddy was Diddy was out here getting motherfucking finesse 2 times out of this motherfucker. Unbelievable. Trying to take down an icon, assassinate his character. Unbelievable.
Diddy Day 32, the defense making their final pitch to keep their client out of prison for the rest of his life. The drugs, recreational. The sex, consensual. Cassie and Diddy were just swingers in love.
Hold on. Let me go back to that. They hit explosive on that, but let's go back to let's run that back one more time. They went explosive.
Diddy Day 32, the defense making their final pitch to keep their client out of prison for the rest of his life. The drugs, recreational. The sex, consensual. Cassie and Diddy were just swingers in love. That's the story Diddy's team is telling and selling during explosive closing arguments. They say the case against the disgraced music mogul is one big cash grab, telling the jury this case is about money, saying the accusers didn't call 911, they called their civil lawyers. Cassie Ventura sued Sean Combs for $30 million because he has $30 million. If he didn't have it, no civil lawsuit and no criminal case. All this as the jury prepares to take the case, and those who know Diddy best speak out.
I think Diddy is a hurt person that hurt people. I think that's what all people that do horrific things are.
Aubrey O'Day has known Diddy for over 20 years. She sounded the alarm about his behavior, but has seen all sides of the rap mogul.
I saw a human in there. I saw when the eyes went black, too, and you didn't see anybody there. I saw both of those people.
She got her first break on Diddy's MTV show Making the Band in 2005 as he put together her girl group Danity Kane.
Just know that I'm by your side.
And then in 2008, a massive fallout with the rapper.
I don't like her energy. I don't like her style and direction where she's going with it.
He fired me on national television after multiple seasons.
I don't like what she does to the brand when she's wilding out there, being overly raunchy, promiscuous.
I'm not meaning.
So I don't want you in the group no more.
He fired me for being raunchy, promiscuous, and bad for business. As we all know, he has no problem with raunchy and promiscuous. I probably would have been given a raise if those were true.
Aubrey has been watching the trial closely, sharing her thoughts on Diddy's ex, Cassie Ventura, whom she knows well.
I think Cassie is an incredibly brave human. It was not easy to do what she did, especially 1 week away from delivering a child. I believe that she told the truth on the stand, and I'm horrified that she had to relive that. I think she did a lot of good with being so open about the places that this industry can take you.
And with Diddy's trial now in the hands of the jury, Aubrey says she wants to see him behind bars.
I don't feel it's going to be a walk away with nothing. If it is, I'll leave the country tomorrow, because that's scary. I would like him to be found guilty on what the prosecution proved. Personally, I believe he's guilty of all of the charges. I don't know if the prosecution proved it without a doubt, though.
That hoe need to shut up. You a hoe. That's all that is. You just mad because you probably didn't do your job good enough. You should have did your job. That's all you had to do. That's all you had to do. Now you regret it. You wish you would have got on your knees. Yeah, you wish you would have got on your knees. Take that, take that. Bad boy, it won't stop. 9-5. Yeah. You a hoe. You a hoe. I said that you's a hoe. Oh, you's a hoe. Oh, you's a hoe. Yeah, shut the fuck up, Aubrey.
What if the man behind the music empire, the mogul who once ruled hip-hop's golden era, wasn't just making hits, but building a criminal kingdom in plain sight? Today, inside a packed courtroom in New York, the government made one thing chillingly clear. This wasn't about fame or excess. This was about fear, coercion, and control, weaponized through money, loyalty, and silence. Prosecutors weren't just presenting a closing argument, they were dropping a bombshell. The moment Assistant U.S. Attorney Christy Slavic stood and said, "It's time to hold Sean Diddy Combs accountable," the room fell breathless. Even the overflow rooms filled to the brim felt the weight shift. Diddy's entire family was there. His children, his mother, cousins, and even, reportedly, the mothers of his children. And they all watched as the government ripped the veil off a legacy. At the heart of the case, a racketeering conspiracy, the kind usually reserved for mobsters and cartel bosses. But today, it had Diddy's name stamped across it. Slavic walked the jury through a 5-count indictment, but it was count 1, the enterprise, that turned heads. She called it the Combs Enterprise, not Bad Boy Entertainment, not Revolt TV. This, she said, was the Shadow Empire, a criminal web operated by Diddy and enforced by a cast of loyal enablers. From bodyguards like Uncle Paulie and D-Rock, to assistants allegedly tasked with drug runs and sex party coordination, prosecutors painted a haunting picture of how this kingdom functioned: protect Diddy, conceal the crimes, isolate the victims, and then the roadmap unfolded. Drugs, freak-offs, violence, arson, bribery, forced labor, and sex trafficking. It sounded like a script torn from a mafia thriller. But the witnesses? Real. The evidence? Tangible. The trauma? Deep. Photos of Cassie Ventura's battered body. Surveillance video of her being kicked, thrown, humiliated in a hotel hallway. And a testimony from one of Diddy's own daughters, visibly shaken as photos of a charred Porsche linked to a drive-by at Kid Cudi's home flashed on screen. They called it control. The prosecution called it coercion, and the law calls it trafficking. The jury was shown how women, including Cassie and another identified only as Jane, were allegedly groomed, manipulated, and ultimately trapped in cycles of sexual exploitation. There were wild king nights, lavishly planned, yet disturbingly calculated. Escorts flown in, drugs distributed, and assistants standing by to make sure everything ran like clockwork. Jane, the witness at the heart of the sex trafficking charge, described the spiral. The love bombing, the power imbalance, the moment a luxury apartment lease turned into leverage. She wasn't just offered a place to live. She was handed a message. You owe me. You don't get to say no. And when she tried, according to prosecutors, Diddy didn't stop. One chilling moment stuck with the jury. Diddy allegedly asking her, mid-confrontation, "Is this coercion?" The prosecutor didn't blink. Yes, it was, and he knew it. As for Cassie, she wasn't just Diddy's girlfriend. She was a young, rising artist signed to his label, someone Diddy himself described as young and moldable. The prosecution told the jury he didn't want a partner, he wanted compliance. Violence, unpredictability, and surveillance were his tools. From taking her phone and laptop to threatening to release sex tapes to her family, the control was systematic. And it wasn't just about what Cassie endured. It was about how Diddy allegedly used that trauma to bind her further. To prosecutors, even the videos, the so-called freak-offs, weren't evidence of consent. They were evidence of performance, survival. And that's where it hit hardest. The prosecution argued that these weren't just one-off incidents. They were acts committed in furtherance of a larger conspiracy, a machine, a criminal enterprise. And under RICO law, the jury only needs to believe 2 predicate crimes happened to secure a conviction. They were given a smorgasbord: kidnapping, arson, bribery, drug trafficking, and sex trafficking. From the London hotel where Cassie was allegedly held until her bruises healed, to the burning Porsche at Kid Cudi's house. From secret deals with hotel security to bury surveillance footage, to a staff hierarchy paid 6 figures to stay loyal and silent. It was all there, in texts, in testimonies, in timelines and photographs. And in the eyes of the prosecution, it pointed to one undeniable truth. This wasn't just about kink. This wasn't just about consent blurred by power. This was about exploitation, layered in glamour, abuse, dressed in designer. As Diddy sat motionless, head bowed, the prosecutor closed with a line that echoed through every soul in that courtroom. Up until today, he got away with it. That stops now. The jury now holds the weight of a verdict that could shatter the myth of untouchable stardom, or set a precedent that even a king in his kingdom is not above the law. Because in the end, it wasn't just about Sean Diddy Combs. It was about justice finally catching up, no matter how powerful the man or how high his throne.
Make sure y'all tap into all the Diddy content. We on the verdict watch. Whenever the verdict drop, we most definitely will be going live. We're most definitely going to be covering it right here at S.L.R Media TV for sure. Make sure y'all go to my second YouTube channel. Make sure y'all support that. Make sure you go there, subscribe. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, share button over there. S.L.R Sports News TV. We on the road to 800. Let's go ahead and get 800 subscribers over there. We on the road to 4,000. Let's go ahead and get to 4,000 over here. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment over here. Make sure you watch the content. Very important you watch the content for sure. Not only I want y'all to like it, view it, but watch it. I got a whole lot of content. Plenty enough for you to get you through your day. So make sure you go ahead and tap in for sure. Will Diddy be found guilty or not guilty? Will Diddy be doing the Diddy Bop? We most definitely, we on verdict watch. Like, subscribe, share, comment to my YouTube channel. You know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. Will Diddy be doing the Diddy Bop out the courthouse? Let's say, before we go.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. But sometimes you gotta do that. I was fucked up. I mean, I hit rock bottom. But I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy and go into rehab. Had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.